Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. May we rise for invocation. Mr. Orjona, can you lead us, sir?
Sure. Bow our heads. Dear Father, we thank you for the opportunity together this day. May everything we do begin with your inspiration and continue with your help. We ask for your guidance throughout this meeting, that all of our thoughts and actions will reflect your holy will, and that you will grant us the grace to make the best decision for our city. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Ms. Diana, public comments? No, not this evening. Go ahead, Mr. Juan.
public comments. Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Staff, community members. On tonight's, before we start, Mayor, you have before you the ribbon cutting for the gala that is going to be taking place tomorrow, right next to the EDC office. Everybody's invited, all staff, community members, obviously you and the commissioners. On the first item, we have a proclamation proclaiming the full support of the 2020 census. As you know, the census is right around the corner. We're gonna have a census day with the PJ School District, which will be taking place Wednesday, April the 1st. We encourage that we pass the word around and say how important it is to be counted. There's a lot of monies in stake. There's a lot of monies that are not really funded here in the Rio Grande Valley because of the fact that we don't get counted. But just it's a proclamation for that.
Is this, did Mr. Robert Escobar go to some kind of the
Yes.
census meeting?
As a matter of fact,
Is he here today or no?
No, he's not. Ms. Monica is here. Robert, he's out today.
Okay,
But
all
I
right.
think Ms. Monica should be very well versed as well. Yes, ma'am. You with the census? Yes, I'm with the light.
Okay. All right, no. All right. Good, okay.
The time for the event on the first?
It's on, let's see what it says here. 9:30 in the morning to 10:30 a.m. It's Monica Rally, if I'm not mistaken.
Really, yeah. I'll go ahead and sign that proclamation right now as we speak.
The next item, proclamation proclaiming March 2020 as March for Meals Month. We have Ms. Monica Villarreal here with us that will give us a short presentation as to what this means. Has to do with Amigos del Valle, providing meals to the senior citizens in this community and all communities along the Rio Grande Valley. So, Ms., you want to take the podium and say a few words?
Good evening, and I do want to thank the city of San Juan for the award we're about to receive. This means a lot to us because all the support the city of San Juan provides helps us focus on our mission, which is to serve the elderly community here in San Juan. And of course, we go out there every day and provide this meal to the homebound seniors. And it gives us a chance to shorten that long waiting list that we have. So we are really thankful for the support San Juan provides to us. Thank you.
Much. My pleasure. I'll go ahead and, I already signed the proclamation in reference to that.
Okay.
Matter already. So I don't know if you want to come back tomorrow, or maybe Ms. Diana can give you a copy of it, so that way you guys can have it in file. Okay? Thank you so much, and the city's here for you guys anytime. Thank you.
Next item, it's the presentation of Phase 1 of the Municipal Park Project. Have Mr. Willingham here give us a status as to where the park is at with the improvements that we're doing at the park. Mr. Willingham?
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Commission.
Good evening, sir.
I just have a brief presentation just to give an update on where we're at with the Municipal Park Project, which is our two baseball, softball fields that we're renovating. As of Friday, February 28th, Mr. Guajardo and I, my assistant director, we did a walkthrough along with the contractor and made sure that Phase 1 was completed as per the contract and be ready to pay out Phase 1. So that phase included removal of the existing dirt and subgrading the whole ballpark, install the concrete curbs, the trim that goes all the way around the infield to prepare that for the beginning of to prepare the beginning phase of, for the installation of the turf. And then the drainage and nailer board installation, which that goes towards the end. Here's a quick 3-minute video just to show you what's been taking place out there at the park. So if you want to take a look, that's what's been happening out there. But everything's moving along quite well. Contractors are out there early and doing a pretty good job of staying on time. So far, weather's been good, so everything looks good. We're on track to be completed with this project about the first week in April. Week and a half, the first week and a half in April. Of course, depending on weather. We're about to start the irrigation phase in the outfield, and then laying of the grass.
So when you say the first week of April, are you talking about both fields?
Both fields, the infields. We will still, we'll be finishing up the laying of the sod in the outfield. That'll continue to, the kids will probably be able to start playing sometime in May. We need to give the outfield grass time to root so that they don't get on it and start tearing it up. So it should be ready. You know, everything goes well, we should be ready by the latter part of May. And in summer, we've been awarded 3 tournaments for the All-Stars. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we host everything over at Municipal.
About the retractable roof that you're gonna put on. I'm joking. Scratch that, I'm joking. But no, that's good. Good deal.
So pretty much it going real fast. I went by there and they're on time.
I had gone by last week and they were spreading out the what is it, like the rock or the pepper?
There's 2 layers of that. That one that is going on right now. It's a bigger pebble, and then there's a smaller crushed one that goes on top that creates a padding when the turf gets laid on top of it. But yeah, that's what they were doing.
So is there gonna be drainage all along the fence line?
It's in right. Some will drain out in the parking lot. There's a drainage that drains out. It goes down. I can't remember the street that it goes, and then it goes back out to First. And then on the north field, it'll drain out towards 2nd Street. Yeah.
Now, my last question for you, Mr. Winningham, as far as the I know I had brought it up to your attention as far as the netting, for the foul balls and
Yes.
stuff like that. Have you guys already looked
We
into
reached
that?
out, and that company's going to be coming out next week because they're also going to be doing the canopies for the people's
Spectators?
the spectators. So we'll be measuring and getting all that done.
Okay. Good.
Yes, sir.
Looking good, man.
Any other questions?
Any questions for Mr. Willingham? If
Right.
not, thank you so much.
Thank
sir.
you.
The next item we have on the presentation, we have a presentation of departmental reports. We have the planning and zoning, Department of Sanitation, San Juan Memorial Library, and Department of Parks and Recreation again. If you have any questions, everybody's here. If you have any questions.
Questions for the directors at this time?
If I may.
Go ahead, sir.
First of all, Mr. Wingham, you all put on a great 5K event this past month. Let your staff know that they did an outstanding job. Everybody that participated did great. I do have a question though regarding the drafting or whatever with the baseball program.
Drafting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently they're telling me that it's a blind draft. They just draw numbers. There's no names attached. They don't have a list of names or anything. How does that work?
There is a list of names, but once they grab the number, then after they're done, they can pull the name and that's to protect our new coaches that don't know anybody. If we give the names too early, they may know who all these people are. So they draw numbers, and then that night they'll see the names.
Get them
We'll
that
go.
same day? That same, okay.
And their rosters are usually done by the next day.
Questions? Not, we'll move on. Go ahead, sir.
Next item on the ordinance, we have a discussion and possible action of an ordinance amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 12.02, Operation of Vehicles, Division 3, Speed Limits, Section 12.02.092, Speed Limits of specific streets of the city of San Juan's Code of Ordinances to provide for the regulation of motor vehicle speed on FM 2557, which is Stewart Road, from Interstate Highway 2 to Ridge Road. As you may recall, we had a presentation something back, I want to say last year during the summer, where Texta was doing an assessment on the street to lower the speed limit. And they finally came back with assessment and the recommendation, which is and as you can see on your packet, it says that the proposed ordinance is to amend the Division 3 speed limits. So we have speed limits from Interstate Highway 2, which is the frontage to Rio Bravo Street. It's from 45 to 40. They're pretty much lowering 5 miles an hour on every sections of that. So from Rio Bravo to Ridge Road, it's at 55 to 45. And from Ridge Road to US Military Road South, it's from 60 to 55. On the school zone, so where it's at from US Business 83 to Rod Street, which is the entrance to Stewart Place subdivision, it'll go from 35 to 25 when it's flashing, and the same place from 45 to 40 when it's not flashing. So they did that. They're working on the assessment of 495 to lower the speed as well on that couple of schools that we have on 495. They're barely getting started with the assessment report, so it'll take about maybe a few months before it's completed. And once it's completed, to bring it before us as well. Once this is approved, we're gonna send it over to TechStat, and they'll do all of that changes. They'll bring the signs, provide for everything that needs to be provided.
Also, just to make a comment in reference to that, Mr. Rona, I know I did meet with Mr. Campos from the PSJ School District and TxDOT in reference to lowering the speed limit, which was a good outcome, obviously. I know that they already sent a resolution as well to Mr. Robert Escobar, but he's not here today. But in reference to the 495, another road, okay, another concern they had was the lighting on 495 too. There's something, yeah, we need to look at that issue as well.
So we're looking at the street lighting, or we're looking at school lighting, the flashing
So
lights?
street.
Mayor, I got a call on that as well, and it's probably gonna be, see what we can do jointly. I guess after assessment's done, we'll be able to determine what it is, but I do know that there's been a lot of concern there with the lighting, early mornings
On
and
the
stuff
street
like
lights,
that.
we can definitely take a look at it and
Okay.
submit it
Yeah,
over to
no,
TechStat.
we can work out some kind of
Right.
interlocal or something like that. So we're, half, we'll take on the matter.
I know that on School Road, we have a flashing light at 35, so you're gonna go to 35. But I haven't seen flashing light on 495. Anybody have seen flashing light on 495? Maybe that's what.
Right.
Yeah, let's look into
Okay.
it.
Any other questions? No? With that being said, is there a motion approved?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Under the next item on the appointments, we have consider removal and or appointment of board members related to the City of San Juan Civil Service Board.
I believe this item was tabled last meeting, so we'd have to have a motion to untable it.
Is there a motion on table? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This item is untabled. In reference to the Civil Service Board, I noticed that there is 2 seats available, right? Which their term expires, which is Rolando Casas and Juan J. Vasquez. Am I correct, Mr. Rona or
Term
Ms.
expires
Diana?
Mr. Eric
Is that-
Sanchez. Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
So, is it Eric Sanchez, Rolando Casas?
There's 3, all 3 of them?
Well, the other one expires on the 23rd of this year.
Oh, okay, so, okay, and Vasquez, his expires on the 23rd, right? Okay.
No,
Okay,
his actually expired in February, February 13th of this year.
Vasquez?
Yes,
15?
yes.
Okay, so all 3 of them,
No, it's Joe Vasquez and Mr. Casas that have expired. Their term has expired.
so Mr. Sanchez hasn't expired,
No,
okay. Now, notice I was looking at the applications, I noticed that on Mr. Casas, Does he also serve on another board as well? Do you know, Chief? Mr. Rolando Casas, does he serve on the Crime Stoppers Board? Do you know? He does? And then he was also serving on the Civil Service Board? Well, I just feel that we need to give someone else an opportunity to serve on the board. So at this time, I'm gonna just make the motion to appoint David Alvarado and remove Rolando Casas on the Civil Service Board, and I'll go ahead and make the motion as well to reappoint Juan Vasquez. That's in the motion. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Next item, Mayor Commissioners, we have discussion and possible action to authorize staff to solicit for statements of qualifications for professional services for the preparation of the resilience assessments and develop a risk management plan based on the results of the complete risk and resilience assessment as required by the America's Water Infrastructure Act of 2018, and authorize city manager to execute all related documents and budget amendment as needed. Mr. Salinas.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. In October of 2018, Congress passed the American Water Infrastructure Act that requires all community water systems serving a population of 3,000 or more to develop a risk and resilience assessment that considers risks to the water system from 11 acts, sort of like terrorism and stuff like that, and also natural acts, hurricanes, tornadoes, and what may happen. The law requires that an emergency response plan be developed from that assessment for the water system, or that we update the existing current emergency response plan to include the findings of the risk assessment and resilience assessment. And each water system must submit a certification to the EPA. We don't need to submit the plan. We just need to send a letter to the EPA saying that we did the risk assessment, the resilience assessment, and we've updated or produced the emergency response plan. For our system, our size, ours is due June 30th of 2021. The reason I'm coming to you now is because it's a very in-depth study where they got to come in and look at all the points within our water system to see where it's vulnerable to attack from a terrorist threat or a natural threat that may cause problems with the system. So I'm asking that we approve it as presented so we can start soliciting to have an engineering firm come and put that deal. And it is, since this is a very detailed and very robust program, I'm requesting that we go out and solicit and not use the two engineers that we have on rotation right now.
How long is this process, sir?
It can take several months, or it depends on how detailed we want it. That's something that we're going to have to work with the engineer firm that we select. But there's certain criteria that needs to be met per the act, and the act is, I did attach it to the agenda, and that's where we're going to have to be very diligent, and that's where I'm going to recommend that one of our engineers that we have on rotation help us evaluate the plans. That's why I'm soliciting outside, because we're going to need that help to review those programs.
Questions for Mr. Salinas? Rona? No comment? No. You're all right? Okay. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, discussion possible action to approve budget amendment of $45,000 out of retained earnings and authorize city manager to execute all related documents and budget amendment as needed. Mr. Salinas.
Again, Mayor Commissioners, back in 2018, we authorized the work to begin for the rehab lift station 13. Since that work had originally been already budgeted for, approved by Texas Water Development Board and designed, we had to redesign it since we pulled the other lift stations out of it, since we did not have enough funding to do all the rest of the lift stations. Unfortunately, that Texas Water Development Board would not pay for again, so we need to cover the engineering cost out of our funds. We can't use Texas Water Development Board funds for that. So that is the 20,000 that are in there. 20,000 that are in there for the engineering costs. That's in that 45,000. The 25,000 there is for additional lab costs for analytical services for the wastewater plant. Some of it is for the additional sludge that we've been moving out of the plant to keep up compliant. And this year we had to do additional analytics because of the permit renewal process that we're going through right now.
Any questions, Mr. Salinas, at this time?
Just for information, Mayor, if I may, what's the location of the lift station?
Lift station 13, this is the one by the recycle center.
Okay. It's right next to the recycling center, right off of First Street. Yes, sir. Yep. Yes.
Okay. With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next item, we have a discussion and possible action on accepting and awarding a bid for San Juan Street paving reconstruction improvements phase number 3 project. Mr. Roel Garza.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Bids were received on Wednesday, February 26, 2020, from 6 construction firms. The lowest bid came in at $1,093,301.36. Staff is recommending approval from our city engineer Cruz Hogan. Recommendation to award MJA Construction for the Phase 3 Street Improvements Reconstruction Paving Project.
The other phases?
The Phase 1 and Phase 2,
Yes.
they have been completed, yes, sir.
The one saying is working on it. They've been working on that.
The-
MJ.
No, sir.
No,
this
no, no,
is-
no, this is a
So
new,
you're worried- in other words, yes, sir, so we don't have a,
So there was only 6, right,
yes, sir.
total? Any questions for Mr. Garza? Go ahead, sir.
Cruz Hogan is recommending MJ.
Yes, sir.
They are familiar with their work.
With their work, yes, sir.
They are actually doing some work for the city of McAllen. Mr. Cruz Hogan, they checked the references with them.
What
And-
about, did they check any litigations or anything like that?
And that's what they checked. And
They
there's-
did?
Right, there's nothing there, and they did say that they're doing good work for the city.
Okay. Okay, with that being said, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
If I can, Commissioner Ramirez, make a motion. If you could, just clarify to say, because the item doesn't say which company, I know you're making, there's a recommendation, but if you could say MJA
Correct.
as a
All right.
contractor,
Yes.
or amend your motion.
The motion would include the low bidder, being MJA Construction LLC from Mission, Texas.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Mayor Commissioners, the other item, we have discussion and possible action on the memorandum of understanding. It's an MOU between the City of San Juan Police Department and the San Juan Crime Stoppers that was made on January the 4th, 2017. I got Chief here with us. I know that we've been going back and forth, the Chief and I, as to the Crime Stoppers, where they're at. So,
Oh, you skipped one.
I'm
You
sorry.
skipped D.
Yes, D, I'm sorry, okay. No wonder. So, I'm sorry, Chief, we're gonna go back to D. Discussion and possible action authorizing city manager to approve budget amendment to increase the San Juan Fire Department other equipment account 30-470.7957 and minor equipment 30-470.6390 in the amount of $119,000 for the fiscal year 2019-2020. I've got Chief here with us, Chief Tirso Garza and Mr. Frank San Martin, to let us know about the grant that the city was awarded in the amount of $119,000 for this fiscal year. There was $1 million that was up for grabs. The city of San Juan was lucky enough to have $119,000 that was awarded. I've got here Mr. San Martin. He wants to add something. Chief, you want to explain as to what the items were that we were awarded?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor's Commissioners. Good news to us, we got notification of availability of some funds sometime back in, it was in November. And for the border zone fire department to utilize, the funding to be utilized to assist either Customs, Border Patrol, whatever it is, whatever type of threat there is at the border. So we were able to secure $119,000 that are going to be utilized within the next couple of months. We have till August to compile all the equipment. We're going to take a jump on it pretty quick, I guess, so we make sure nothing expires or anything like that. But of course, it was the assistance with Mr. Frank San Martin, right? From Hollis Rutledge. We compiled all the information, submitted it on time. We got notification on the 28th of February. So I believe the items are in the packets that you all have.
So we'll be purchasing a boat along with utility trailers, swift water rescue equipment, and things like that, to just a total of 119. Zero match. It's all funds for the fire department.
Boat?
Correct, yes, sir. Bayhawk, 22-footer.
What?
No, sir, I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
I said a Bayhawk, a 22-footer, but no, we're looking at aluminum boat. It's just one. I put in for two ATVs, but they just awarded us one. So I'm looking at an 18-foot. I discussed it with Mr. Arjona yesterday. An 18-foot aluminum boat for water rescue.
I was gonna say, why don't you look at getting a fan boat, one of those big fan boats?
Well, the thing is, I looked at those and they take up too much space. You don't have much room in there to put the either what transpires at the border or what transpires here inside the city. So it's too big, way too big.
Way too big?
Yeah, so I was looking at
What's the price difference? I'm just curious.
I haven't got no price quotes on those. I just submitted the info. I built a boat, actually. It's an aluminum boat that is commonly used in the fire service. And they haven't gotten back with the quote. But you want to say anything?
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited that we got the grant award, that the city, we were able to secure the fire department this funding. And then just so you guys know, we are working with the police and the solid waste, on some additional funding in the next, couple of weeks. We should hopefully hear some more good news. So just so you guys know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Any questions for Chief at this time?
Grant, no, it's not a matching grant.
Zero match. It's all there were several other cities here from the valley that also got awarded. I don't know what their amounts were, but we got it. We got some.
That's it. Is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Item E, discussion and possible action on the memorandum of understanding between the City of San Juan Police Department and the San Juan Crime Stoppers that was made on January the 4th, 2017. As I was saying, it was an item that was going back and forth as to where the Crime Stoppers are, as to what's their involvement within the community. So I spoke to Chief and I said, you know what, let's place it on the agenda so that we can discuss the MOU, see if there's any questions as to the involvement, because I was asking Chief if maybe within the future what we can do is communicate, maybe not communicate better, but we have more communication with the Crime Stoppers, so that maybe once a month, Chief, maybe if I may, give us like a status report on tips or whatever the case may be. So I don't know if you have any questions on that.
As far as the board members, correct me if I'm wrong, but do they have to be certified every year to be on this board, or how does this work, Chief?
They have to attend training,
training.
basic Crime Stoppers certification as board members, and
Is that on a yearly base, or is it just a one-time training and then you're set until your term's done or until you're no
well,
longer?
it is recommended, Mayor, that they attend training every year so they can keep up with the new laws. Every year there's always new laws that come up and stuff like that and changes, and funding and promotional ways how to get funding for the Crime Stoppers. Different organizations present different things, how to create revenue. Not only also how to partner up with their sponsor, which in this case, the PD is the sponsor, so we sponsor the Crime Stoppers. So basically, we work in conjunction with them by providing a Crime Stoppers coordinator and making sure that our public is aware of the Crime Stoppers program in the community.
Who's the coordinator?
Right now, I do not have, it used to be Carlos Ramos. He left us. He's with the PSDA School District. We don't have anybody right now, Mayor, for the purposes of the fact that my captain right now is attending those meetings. We have other, priorities that we're actually, doing at the PD, patrol procedures, stuff like that we're handling there. But in the near future, we plan to get a coordinator. But with the POW program coming up, our full efforts are behind that, 110%. So we are planning to put a POW coordinator, which is required. Yesterday, we had a first meeting. So, and I think that right now, Crime Stoppers does not have anything pressing that we need to actually bring forth. I know that they just had a meeting a couple of weeks ago. They appointed now they have a full quorum. And we did speak with them, and we've been in communication with them, letting them know that we expect that for them to be a little bit more active in the community. And it's understandable that they also have personal lives, obviously, but I believe that some of them are attending school, some of them are doing some training as well. Yes,
You mentioned that,
yes, that's
is it
correct.
one or two? It said two sponsors, don't the bylaws say that?
We,
Or up to two sponsors?
yes, but they need a sponsor, and the police department
it
is
two
their
set
sponsor.
Sponsors or,
One set.
okay, it's one.
Yeah, they have to have a law enforcement, yes, sir. Yes, Commissioner. They have to have a law enforcement agency to sponsor them.
Yes, and then an outside entity or an outside sponsor as well?
I need to check on that. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I know only on the law enforcement side, yeah. Okay,
And I'm just curious, I just want to know
sure.
who the other sponsor would be or what have you.
Yes.
That's my question.
As far as going back to the coordinator, if someone were to call a tip tonight on something, who would they call?
We have a Crime Stoppers hotline, so we do have someone, our drug enforcement agent assigned to DEA is handling that phone.
So obviously
So
he is a-
24/7, yes.
he
yes.
is a peace officer.
Yes, we do have somebody answering. We just don't have a liaison coordinator assigned at this point.
Okay.
But we have someone answering those calls, and we have received calls, and.
So there's somebody assuming the responsibility as we speak.
Yes, yeah, that hasn't stopped, that
And
hasn't
that's so
stopped.
important, Chief, because
Sure.
that's a great tool that a lot of the
Yes.
agencies have across the valley along the state of Texas.
Yes,
I'm very familiar, very aware of Crime Stoppers. I've been there since 2000. I was co-founder of the Palmy Crime Stoppers.
True.
And I'm very well versed of what the fruits it brings. And it's a great crime-solving tool.
yes.
So if we can get somebody lined up or find someone that really is dedicated to that, because it does take a lot of patience to get all those calls at all hours of the night, so.
Yes, it is a lot of work, but I just, like to mention the fact that our efforts in the POW program right now, I mean, and we are gonna, revisit with the Crime Stoppers, program and assign a coordinator. As it is right now, we have a lot of personnel doing training, hiring, recruiting, doing background investigation. So, right now, we are pretty busy. Nothing that we can't handle, but we are making sure that any tips that come in are being investigated. That's for sure. So any tips coming in, any things, any issues that come up with the Crime Stoppers, they're being handled.
And have they been paid out too?
Yes, they have.
They have?
Yes, they have.
And who determines the amount?
The Crime Stoppers follows a set guideline by the state, by the Texas Crime Stoppers. So, and those guidelines depends on felonies, misdemeanors, type of offense, and circumstances. So they decide within the board as to a certain limit how much you're going to get paid, up to $1,000. Up to $1,000.
There's a guideline, Mayor, on the American guideline.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I was just curious about that.
And Chief, good job, and all that, and I understand it, and we set our priorities and stuff like that, but I do understand, just reiterate that we are in support of the Crime Stoppers.
Yes.
And for all that entails, of course, buddy here.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, we're in support of the Crime Stoppers, and then maybe just a little bit more open dialogue with us.
Sure.
Us being the sponsor, you all being the sponsor, which means us. So after that, we're in support of the Crime Stoppers.
Yes, we do plan in our monthly report that include Crime Stoppers data, where they're at, and also include the board members as well. Anything that's coming up, any fundraisers coming up with them, and anything that we jointly working together. I know that they didn't have a quorum, so finally they do have a quorum, and they're back in business. So to us, it's a plus, because if something comes up, we're willing to make sure that our citizens or anonymous callers are aware that
No, it's
our
a
Crime
good tool
Stoppers
for you
program
guys.
is out there, yes.
It's a good tool for you, law enforcement. to
Yes,
help
Mayor.
them out.
Thank you, Chief.
If I may, just to clarify on I know, Mayor, you asked about the certification of the board members, and they do attend, and they're certified for 2 years. So I believe 2 other members need to attend this year so that they continue the certification. Now, that also helps because of the probationary fees. If there's no member that is certified on the board, then the Crime Stoppers cannot receive those probationary fees from the state. So that is very key.
You said certified for 2 years?
For 2 years.
What I understood, they were only certified 1 year, and they have to go every year.
Every
to
other
get-
year they have certified, Mayor.
Every other year.
It's every other year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And they have to meet our criteria, and they have to go through audits before they can actually get certified through the program.
Perfect. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate it. So this is just a motion to approve?
It's just a status for, that's a status, right?
No action.
Am I correct?
Well, it's worded.
It's discussions to see if there was gonna be any changes on the MOU.
All right,
No,
so,
no action.
no action. Good.
The
Okay,
next
go ahead,
item,
sir.
the next item, discussion and possible action on supporting the proposed rule 3.334 that will provide clarity for cities and local government entities of all sizes to receive the local tax revenue from online purchases to which they are entitled. This is an effort that is being pushed by the Lower Rio Grande Valley, and this is in an effort to collect sales tax when we're doing internet sales. So currently, the way it is, I mean, somebody buys an item over the internet, we don't get the internet, we don't get the sales tax. But this way, it is going to be ensure that the city, if it's done within the city, will get the sales tax back to the city.
If I may, I was at that meeting, I attended to that meeting and the discussion with everybody else across the valley. Sentiment is across the valley, so that's to benefit anybody. And I believe the taxes that we'll be getting is when it's delivered to the city. So whatever city gets delivered to, that is where the tax, not necessarily where you order it from. So, but it was a really good. Finally, you know, that it's a big tax base for the rest of for the valley, really. So,
right.
Just wanted to update you out in that meeting.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay. This is on, okay. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you,
The
sir.
next item is, I'm sorry, consider authorizing the city manager adopting a resolution required by the Border Zone Fire Department program to the Office of the Governor. Chief?
Part of the grant requirements was for us to approve a resolution with the Border Zone Fire Department program for the $119,000.
This goes with it.
Correct, yes, sir.
With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item, we have consent agenda. We have item A, B, and C. Should you have any questions, we can always pull any item from the agenda. Should you have any questions on them?
At this time, is there anything we need to modify or amend under consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item, we have executive session. We have two items under executive session. The first one is consultation with attorney, 5.1.074 personal matters. Discuss the appointment, employment duties, discipline, dismissal of a public officer or employee, Diana Cavazos, city secretary. And the second one is pursuant to section 5.1.071, consultation with attorney, discussion and possible action regarding the lawsuit style C-0833-20-A Norma Cedillo versus the city of San Juan, Texas, in the 92nd Judicial District Court of Hidalgo County, Texas.
With that being said, is there a motion to enter executive session? Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll be going in executive session at 6:38 p.m. Executive session at 6:57 p.m. Is there a motion to reconvene?
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Under executive session, under one, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to table this item. That's in a motion. Is there a second? It's been a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And under executive session two, at this time, we're taking no action. No action under executive session number two. With that being said, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting has been adjourned at 6:57 p.m. Thank you.